Yeah, it's about the bag with the triple single crew. We got Ronnie, Doc, Antonio, the real deal too. They coming and dropping knowledge, you know that they get to work. You know that triple single cover Bay Area sports. You know I'm coming hard, I don't feel like I'm in a hurry. Like number 30, I really got the range like Stephen Curry. Get a couple rings and
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the triple single crew. It's me, Real Deal, as always, and I'm here with Doc, Antonio Martinez, and Ronnie. And as you can see from Ronnie's jersey, we're going to be talking Giants. And really, guys, I mean, even though we had that unfortunate loss today, the team has just been coming out on fire. I mean, 11-7 in the first 18. The starting pitching was way better than anybody could have imagined.
Yep.
So let's get right into it, fellas. What'd you think of that 10-6 barrage from yesterday, Doc? Because I thought they were dead in the water after 4-0.
Yeah, I actually didn't get a chance to catch the game as it was a bit earlier in the day, but I got a chance to watch the highlights, and I replayed the highlights a few times today, and it was impressive, right? I think within the last two seasons, we've seen just a vast improvement in our hitting, right? And it's not like the players have changed tremendously. It's some of the same guys, but it looks like whoever has come in and started to work with our hitters, whether it be due to the analytics that they are now incorporating into the game, or whether it just be just better coaching. Because I know we had Bam, who was the hitting coach not too long ago that was pretty popular?
Bam Bam Mullins?
Yeah, Bam Mullins. He was the hitting coach for a while, and I mean, I know he was like really well thought of, but it just seemed like the team was not hitting when he was the guy in charge. But over the last 2 years, we just, again, like I said, we're just seeing a lot more pop from our guys, and they are able to come back, even
including
if
the vets.
Yep, including the vets, right? Including Longoria, including a Posey who hit I believe 2 home runs yesterday. I don't think he got one today, but he hit 2 yesterday, right? And so I'm extremely impressed that we have the ability to score with some of the best of the best now. And so yeah, that game was fun to watch.
Yeah. What's up, Ronnie? You got the jersey on. Tell us.
Yeah, man. You know, obviously you see the 2014 championship pack. After that, we've been to the playoffs once, but losing to the Cubs, eventually won the World Series. Just the previous years after their most recent championship that the Giants have won, it's just been up and down, up and down. Especially last year, coming up one game short of even making the playoffs. So, this year I think what definitely helped out was getting Buster Posey back. He's just been hitting nothing but dingers, man. He had 2 yesterday, like Doc said. He homered in his first at bat in Seattle. Yep. So, Kevin Gausman has been great so far. Johnny Cueto has been really good. Hopefully he recovers from that. I believe he had an injury in his most recent start.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it was a lat or something like that, lat muscle for Cueto. So, which is not the worst, right? I mean, it's not an arm. So that's like kind of like the back muscle. And so he should be coming back. Yeah, but go ahead.
So, the starting pitching has been good. The only thing that I'd like to see improve is definitely the bullpen. I believe the loss today was on a walk-off hit, right?
Yeah. They had I forget who they had out there. Wandy Peralta, who I like, but in certain situations, he's kind of playing. Yeah, he plays a closer role because because McGee kind of went out for a little bit. I think McGee's out due to like COVID stuff, isn't it? Like or getting his shots. So getting his shot.
I know he closed the game yesterday. So if that's that must be like.
Oh, then never mind. Okay, then never mind. Yeah. I'm not sure why they didn't use him then.
Probably just feel like they've maybe been overworking him a little bit. I mean, he has been pitching some of the last few games, those last innings.
Yeah.
So, definitely I believe the bullpen needs to do a lot better. Like, some of the most recent games that I can think of was the second game of the year against Seattle. We're up, I believe, was 6-1, and they ended up losing in 10 innings, like 7. Like, the hitting's been great. Evan Longoria, for his age, is off to a very good start. Buster Posey, after sitting out a year, it's been great. Brandon Bell's been picking it up a little bit. So, the hitting's been great. I just think that the pitching the relieving pitchers could do a little bit better. And, once that, we're going to try and keep up with the Dodgers, man, because, the Dodgers can be the Dodgers. So we're second. Yeah. So, as long as we stay there, I know it's a tough National League, but, I think once the pitching, gets settled, we're going to be rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that wild
man.
card. That wild card is always a possibility.
Oh, totally. And I mean, just the fact that you're making the Dodgers hear footsteps a little bit, right? I mean, if you're like 3.5 back, 2.5 back, and it's early, we know that. But I mean, look, some of these teams got off to horrible starts, you know, and a lot of teams that were contending last year, you know, they're like 6-8, you know, they're 5-7 or 5-9, whatever. No, to win 11 of your first 18 right off the bat, right out of the chute. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Especially for a team that we know this isn't the squad. Like we're not done. This is still a work in progress.
Yep.
So I agree with you guys. I think the big injury real quick that kind of hurt us in the pen was just having Moranta go down. You know, when Reyes went down, that kind of hurt because we're really lefty dependent right now. And so I think they're scrambling, honestly, for righties. I think we've got some good lefties. I mean, I know Peralta gave it up today, but in general, who's your righty coming out of the pen, right? That's why they brought up Doval.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Camilo Doval,
Yep.
but you need like another dude, right? Because outside of Camilo, all you have is Tyler Rogers, you know, as your other righty. So I think that stuff hurts when you have these power right-handed hitters at the ends of games. I know they had Harper and some of these other dudes, but mostly they had Baum and or Bohm, whatever his name is, and Miller. These guys are all righties for the Phillies. These young guys, Moniak, and these guys. You know, you need a righty to get them out. So I was impressed with them, by the way. Their young players are good. So take 2 out of 3. You know, they had to scratch and claw to finish this out. It was incredible. But I want to talk about that home run that Posey hit, the second one. Mm-hmm. Man, that's one of the most impressive homers I've seen anyone hit in 10 years. That was 98 by Zach Wheeler, by the way. Sorry for all the fans that thought we should have never traded him. I didn't care. I liked Beltran at the time, so you can come at me.
I was upset for sure.
You're upset? Yeah. Look, he's been in and out. He still has incredible fastball, but Buster just said, you know what? I got your 98 right here up at the hands. And he hit it out by a lot. So that thing was impressive. And it just goes to show when Buster's healthy, he's still one of the best hitters, especially dead red hitters in the league.
And I definitely, I believe he's 34 now. So, he's getting up in age and,
hey, watch out, man. I'm 34 too. You know what's going on.
34 hitting 2 home runs. I'm calling that a good game.
There you go.
They got the win. So, you can add that on there too. But, I think definitely sitting out last year, obviously for personal reasons, stuff like that. I think that definitely helped them out,
Me too.
Playing 162 games a year. I know that can be very challenging. So,
yeah.
For him to be able to sit out, especially, with the year that not only they went through, but like, everybody, in the world that had to go through. I think that definitely helped him out. And I mean, he's been hitting really good. I mean, 4 home runs so far. I mean, that's solid. So, he's up to a good start,
Yeah, I think what's interesting is that we're mentioning how hot our bats have been and how great the hitting's been, but I'm looking at some of the stats right now, even from the guys who played in today's game, and not everybody's hitting to their best potential. You got Yastrzemski, who dealt with an injury, I think, right before the season started. He's only hitting 182, right? And he's supposed to be one of our go-to guys that we can count on. You have Brandon Crawford, who I know hasn't always been the most consistent hitter, but I think he should hit better than 200, which is what he's hitting right now. You got Mauricio Dubon, who's actually a pretty good contact hitter, at least from what I recall, in his short time on the team. And he's only hitting 143. And then another guy that I know can be pretty inconsistent, but when he gets hot, he can go on a 15-game hit streak. Brandon Belt is hitting 186, right? So we're scoring runs somehow without even hitting the ball consistently. Shout out to La Stella, Solano, Donnie Batts, who's just been a consistent guy since the moment he put on a Giants uniform. La Stella's batting 282, Solano's batting 300. Shout out Longoria, who's just really revived his career the last 2 years, hitting 291. I know Dickerson he's one of those guys who you really rely more on the power, but he got 3 hits today, hitting 239. So I know I'm giving you a lot of stats, but I'm just trying to give y'all viewers an idea that we actually can be a lot better than we even are right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're 11-7, and Yaz, who's your best player the last couple of years, hasn't gotten going. Like you said, Belt's not really going yet. He was really good last year. He's a little dinged up, so he may be
started
out.
The season injured.
Yeah, well, I mean, and right now I think he's a little dinged up again, so I don't know, how long that'll just be, maybe a few days or whatever. Flores, who's a guy I really like, hasn't really gotten going yet. I know Donnie Barrels, like you said, he was hitting great coming out of the just to start the season, but I know he's a little bit dinged up today too. I think he has like a calf strain, so he may be out for a little bit. But for me, yeah, guys like Dubon, like he, it kind of bugs me because it's you're not seeing him come out of it, and he's not making hard contact right now. So I think that's the issue. Like you said, he's a contact guy. He's not a power guy. So he needs to be hitting 280, 270, 280 plus.
Yep.
Not hitting bombs, but he needs to at least get on base and hit for contact. So, these guys are coming out of it. Dickerson's coming out of it. Slater is pitching in here and there. Ruff is coming off the bench and hitting some home runs. So,
yeah.
Right now, to be honest, they look like what the A's looked like. I hate to say that because I know a lot of people don't want to, match up the money ball thing, but the A's, I want to say last year or a few years ago, they were all hitting like 190 or 200, but they were scoring because guys were hitting home runs.
Yep.
And so the Giants are actually hitting a lot of home runs and finding ways to get runs. And then the pitching's been really big, the starting pitching. So we'll see.
Even if it's not home runs, I think they're just hitting extra base hits too. I think today Wilmer Flores had a double, Solano had a double, Posey had a double, right? And even if that's your only hit in the game, if you get those consecutively in an inning, guess what? That's a run. You know what I mean? So I think that's also helping. Even if it's not the home runs, that one hit that they're getting a game just happens to be an extra base hit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you guys are saying, I still see them hitting the ball hard a lot of times. Which is not something we could have, just like they did last year. And that wasn't something we could have said 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Like we didn't hit the ball hard all the time. So, La Stella got robbed, a few times. I know he got robbed again today at first base by Hoskins. That thing would have been at least a single. So, you lose a game like today, it doesn't really bug me. You were there. It's just, like you guys said, you got to, the pen is something to think about. And then getting those bats to be a little more consistent. But I think we're going to be fine, guys. I mean, I'm excited. I like Doval.
So, I guess a question that I would just throw out there, I know we've touched upon this in our preview, is do we foresee Kapler being the manager within the next 2 or 3 years? Or is this kind of, like you mentioned, Moneyball type roster build kind of happening as well because he's the coach and there's not a lot of pressure that he's going to put on the team, right? I mean, he's trying to kind of rebrand himself after that fiasco he had with the Dodgers, I believe, in the minor leagues. And so do you guys think he's the guy that's going to be the coach when we bring up some of our top prospects?
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
I believe Kapler used to be the manager for the Phillies too, and they didn't do too well while he was up there. I think so. I think this year, like you said, the money ball and stuff, but like you brought up, Doc, once the bats, start heating up and then once they fix the pen, I think they're going to be just fine. I think he could definitely, I know after Bochy retired, that's a lot to, like cover up and stuff, winning 3 championships in 5 years, it's really hard to do. As us Bay Area fans, we got to witness that twice, with the Giants and with the Warriors. So, I think, this year, they've been winning so far. So, as long as they keep that up, I think, he could still be the guy, after.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question. We could do a whole show on this question. It's a fantastic question. And I'm sure we will. But I think, he's a guy that they did bring along because of his developmental skills. Because he'd work in the minors system with the Dodgers and Farhan had worked with him. And so he believes in his ability to develop our young players. So I do think that they're going to try to keep him around. And if we keep winning, I don't really see, even if we don't win in the playoff, let's say we make the wild card and we lose. No, that's not really going to be a loss in Farhan's eyes and in the rest of the front office because you got to the playoffs, which was the goal this year. At least that's what Farhan said, right? And then beyond that, you still got to develop all these guys, right? Ramos it's still kind of early because we're going to see guys like Ramos come up, probably Bailey next year. That's what I'm thinking. I think he's ahead of Bart. So sorry to the Bart fans, but I mean, that guy's just raking. And then you just have some of these young pitchers that are going to be coming up the next few years. So it's really tough to say right now. I think it's definitely a wait and see. But, you know, I mean, if he doesn't win, I think that's significant. You know, if he's just 500 and Farhan thinks he can do better, then, you know, maybe in a year or 2 years they'll have that conversation. But I don't think it's for 2021.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's important to acknowledge that the Giants get a good amount of money off their books after the season, and so
Yep.
they can play a lot more within the free agency world for next year.
Yep.
And so, if they do believe Kapler is the guy, I guess what I'm going to say is, if they do believe he's the guy, then they will spend money. If they don't, then they're going to continue to try to just do this money ball until they feel like they have the right guy to go all in with.
Well, I think it's somewhere in between, to be honest. I agree with you in that they're going to spend money if they're contending and if they think they're going to go with him. But I don't ever think that the Giants are going to go back to the ways we were before, where we're just spending a lot of money on guys that are over the hill.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you're still going to be developing a lot of your position players, you know, through your own farm system.
Yeah.
The where I see them spending money is, they see a pitcher out there that they want, you know, let's, I'm going to throw out a crazy name, like a vet like Verlander, or somebody like, not him now, but someone like that, of that skill set, that talent. They say, you know what, that's going to cost us 100 something or $200 million. Fine, here, because we already have the position players from our system, and that was cheap. Right. So it's somewhere in between. I do think they're going to, yeah.
And that's kind of what I meant in regards to, like, it doesn't have to be a group of guys that they're paying a bunch of money to, but even if they just commit to like one guy, and like we're talking in the 200 million like range, right? I'm not talking 100 million, right? Because we're starting to see that some of those perennial players that are reaching the free agency, that's what they're getting. I mean, I think the Mets are paying Francisco Lindor around like $300 million, right? So,
but he's a position player. And
I think there's going to be some young position players. If I'm not mistaken, I think even Corey Seager is that from the Dodgers?
Yeah. Corey's from the Dodgers.
Yeah. I think he's going to be a free agent next year. And hey, Farhan knows him firsthand. So that could be a guy that they go for. One, you're taking him away from your rival. And two, you're bringing a potential all-star player to our squad, right?
I mean, you're right. Look, as we said before, and I'll kind of just wrap it up with this and turn it over to you guys. But, you know, this is the last hurrah for Buster together with Crawford and Bell. I think Buster's going to stay out of those guys. That's just my opinion. You see it as a hitter. He's just still super talented. So, you know, but Belt and Craw, I mean, I think they're going to have streaks where they're great and then they're going to be really cold, and that money's going to come off the books for those guys. And you're going to just move on at shortstop and first. So enjoy it while you can, Giants fans, because those guys have just been, you know, legends. And so,
yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else to add, you guys?
No, I'm just excited to see, you know, if they can keep it rolling.
Yep. I know it's been fun. It's been fun. Even these games are like 2-0. I'm like, oh, that's all right. Yeah. You're winning. I don't care to be 2-0 or 10-6, you know, we'll take the wins. So with that, just thank you so much, everybody. Remember to subscribe to the channel and like as well. Leave some comments at TSC Bay Area. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at TSC Bay Area. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to Ronnie's mom. We appreciate it as always. Take care, everybody.
See you, everybody.